Prospect Street, Reservoir Ave, and Van Ostrand Ave. The lane width will be narrowed to 10.5 feet. The curb line at the southeast corner of Reservoir and Van Ostrand is being brought into the roadway to additionally narrow the intersection, forcing drivers to slow down. Sidewalks, crosswalks, striping, and signage will also enhance driver safety and pedestrian safety. I shared the concept plan I received today with Councilman Estacio for his review. We'll take a look at this and give our blessing to the county and that project. They're committed to completing that within about 30 to 60 days. So that should be done before the end of the year, weather permitting. I want to thank Morris County for their effective and efficient reaction to our request to enhance the safety of that intersection. I know a lot of time and effort went in with studies and whether we could put a traffic light or a stop sign, so a lot of efforts went into it. And I want to thank the County of Morris for their efforts to improve that safety. As you know, the Town of Dover, in collaboration with the Kiwanis Club of Greater Dover, is hosting Hurricane Helene relief. Donations can be dropped off in the lobby, I think, through the end of tomorrow. Relief Center is kindly asking for more first aid kits and baby items such as diapers and wipes. Quick update on our health department. Our administrator has been in contact with the Deputy Director of Local Health Departments, Jamie Weller, to inform her that our health officer has resigned. She is aware and actually gave us recommendations on health officers to reach out to. We will keep her and the public informed as our progress continues. Also want to announce that we have hired a public health nurse that was previously employed by the Town of Dover back in 2018 and 19, and will start employment on Tuesday, October 15th, part-time, 3 days a week. So that position has been filled. We've also been working with New Jersey Transit to improve and restore the train station, and today we had a walkthrough of the interior with interested developers as an RFP went out for a tenant to occupy the train station, hopefully to reopen that vacant space very soon. I want to thank Alex Doherty, our planner, for his thorough in excess of 25-page report that was sent to many organizations and individuals showing the deplorable condition and the deterioration of this historic building. It definitely raised attention and awareness, and we now have action on the train station. We're also working with New Jersey Transit to relocate the Morristown Erie rail line alongside of Town Hall here throughout town. We have a new conceptual plan for the rail relocation. Once completed, we'll have eliminated 11 unprotected crossings in Dover and create a new public walking and bike path from Rockaway up through Waterworks. Also want to publicly thank Michelle Espada, who did an incredible job to organize a cultural extravaganza. And even though the weather didn't cooperate, we had a great turnout. The event was extremely organized, went off without a hitch. I also want to publicly thank Megabytes, the promoter, who promoted this event. The police department, fire, DPW, and all the volunteers who helped throughout the day. That would have been one of the biggest festivals this town had ever seen. Between vendors, food vendors, craft vendors, it was over 100 vendors that attended that event. Unfortunately, it rained, so it held a lot of people back. There was over 13 performers on stage, and overall, the event went off well. Unfortunately, like I said, it rained and held some people back, but extremely well organized and well put together. So thank you for all who was involved in that event. Also, a reminder, the town will be hosting a Trunk or Treat Halloween costume contest this Saturday, October 19th at Crescent Field from 12 to 3. You can contact the Recreation Department or Administration to register your vehicle for the Trunk or Treat. On Saturday, October 26th, the Town of Dover's Health Department will be hosting a free annual rabies clinic from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. at DPW, located at 211 North Sussex Street. And just a reminder, Monday is Columbus Day and Town Hall will be closed. Just want to give a quick update on our projects that are currently being worked on or coming up in the very near future. The 2022 Capital Bond Project, which is Green Tree Lane, New Street, Arlene Lane, Elliott, Fred, Ann, and Overlook. Work is ongoing, and we're anticipating completion by the end of October for all the projects. 2022 New Jersey DOT project for Audrey Place and Winthrop Place. The project is essentially complete and we're waiting for the surveys to be returned. All we need to do is get the surveys back and install the speed humps, and that will be 100%. Removal and replacement of the cantilever bridge alongside Town Hall here is out to bid. Waiting for bids to come back. Once they do, we'll be replacing that bridge with I think it was a $400,000 grant that we received to replace that bridge. Sidewalk. Safe Streets to Transit Project Phase 1, the replacement of traffic signals at South Morris and Blackwell Street, Bergen and Blackwell Street, and the installation of actuated pedestrian signals at Essex. That work has been started, the digital pedestrian signs were installed, and the replacement poles are starting to be installed as we speak. On the Liberty Street 2023 NJDOT roadway project, it is out to bid, and the construction is going to start in the spring of 25. Madison Street 2025 NJDOT project, the grant was applied for. We should hear back from them by the end of October whether or not we were awarded the grant for Madison Street. Safe Streets to Transit project Phase 2, replacement of traffic signals at Blackwell and North Sussex and Blackwell Street in Warren. The work has started, it's ongoing for underground conduit to be installed and then new light poles to be installed in downtown as well. The Brooklyn Bridge replacement on Park Heights Avenue has been completed, the design, and it was submitted to New Jersey DEP for review. The 2024 capital projects included Grand Street, Pine Academy, 6th, Byram, Clark, North Linden, Beach, and Clark Street to West Cooper. Design is ongoing, it's almost completed. The bid will be for winter of 2024 construction starting in the spring of 2025. Penn Avenue, 2024 NJDOT, 5th Street to Van Ostrand, the roadway project design again is complete. To go out to bid for 24-25 construction to be started in the spring of 25. And that's an update on all of our ongoing projects currently in our community. A lot going on in the town of Dover right now. Are there any committee reports tonight? Any of the members?
Mayor, go ahead, council members, Tessie.
Mayor, just want to touch on the police committee that we had last week. I want to say that it's an honor to be part of the police committee, and I think the meeting was very productive. We talked with the chief in ways to enhance our quality of life. And he's going to start addressing the noise complaints that we're having, the safety issue that we're having on Blackwell, and the speeding issue as well. So I think that was a great meeting.
Thank you.
Mayor, if there's no other reports, I'll just update the Shade Tree Commission will meet this Thursday as reported at the last meeting. And I do have some questions regarding the mayor's report. Perhaps Health Committee Chair, Councilmember Whitner can jump in if she's aware of the responses. Good evening, I didn't see you earlier. I hope that you can clarify. I think I heard the mayor say that we did hire a public health nurse, is that right?
Yes.
That's.
We are processing the paperwork, yes.
The nurse is not officially hired, but in the works. Okay, great. Oh, wonderful. Can't start soon enough. Okay. I did check our health department website and didn't see a public health nurse listed, so I'm happy to hear that the public health nurse is starting on Tuesday. I do see that Sarah Paramount is still listed as our health officer, and I don't believe she's our health officer anymore. And I did hear that there may have been some recommendations, and we will be interviewing. Have we interviewed anyone yet for the position of health officer?
Good evening, Council. No, we have not interviewed anyone.
Okay, and do you have a list of resumes already, or how far along are we on that process?
So the issue is that the individuals that submitted resumes did not have qualifications to actually be considered, and we are actually going to be going out again for a second search. But what the mayor was referring to was the communications that we had with the deputy director of the Division of Public, Division of Local Health Departments, Deputy Director, and the recommendation that she made was actually for townships that had strong health officers that perhaps can take on Dover. And we have been reaching out to some of them, others, we left messages. I actually have spoken with 2 other counties. In fact, right now I'm working on another county, getting somebody to work with us. But as far as getting someone per se for the town, that has not been a successful search.
So, just so we are clear, we are not looking for a health officer. We're looking for shared services.
We are actually.
Or we're looking for both.
We are looking for a health officer, but in the meantime, the deputy director recommended, and even before this occurred, the mayor as well as I have been contacting all the surrounding municipalities that have health officers.
And in the meantime, we're in violation of the law because we don't have a health officer nor a shared services agreement for a health department.
Can you repeat the beginning? What was that again?
In the meantime, right now, we are in violation of the law because we don't have a health officer and we don't have a shared services agreement in place.
Give that question to legal counsel, please.
So the question is, are we in violation of law because we don't have a health officer?
Or a shared services currently in place.
But we do have something in place to address the health officer's requirements. I thought that's what we established at the last meeting.
We don't.
I thought we did address that we had something in place to address. I was looking through my notes.
Adam, do you want to continue? I think the point here is that,
Mayor, can I?
jump in.
Yes, so when I actually indicated to the state, pretty much that oversees the municipalities, they stated that we continue with the search. They were okay with us continuing with the search because we're not the only municipality looking for a health officer. And continue with the search, and just to keep them abreast as things developed when we're doing the search, as well as cases that may have to be addressed by a health officer.
And perhaps Councilmember Whitner, you could jump in as the chair, but it's my understanding that the law requires us to have someone with those qualifications. And on our website, I see a certified municipal registrar who does not have the qualifications of a health officer, nor the deputy registrar of vital statistics, nor the senior registered environmental health specialist, unless this new public health nurse somehow also has the requirements of a health officer, then perhaps that way we would meet the requirements under the law. And certainly, I mean, if the officer doesn't exist, they don't exist. We can't pull one out of thin air. But we are then, in the meantime, in violation of the law requiring us to have either a health officer or requiring us to have a shared services.
The statute does require a health officer or shared service, but as our administrator stated, if the state is aware of the situation and just asking to be kept abreast, I'm certain that that's what the state is okay with at this time.
And
So
based
we have
upon
a
that
waiver?
representation, I don't believe that we're in violation of the law if the state is aware of it. For example,
Right.
if we had a health officer who unfortunately quit in the middle of a term,
Right.
or something worse happened, we would not have a health officer until we were able to replace that person. As long as the state is aware of it and you notify them, then they're there in case something comes up to back you up for any health needs that you might have that officer would have stepped in for.
I think the point is that, we need to be making, and of course we are making a good faith effort to find.
Yeah, Adam established
Yes,
that he's
exactly,
working as
yes.
hard as possible to replace the
Yeah.
position.
Yeah, and
folks
we're
weren't
not
com-
just-
weren't-
Correct, yeah.
Yes, and we're not just reaching out to the Morris County municipality, we're actually reaching outside our borders as well.
In addition to Morris County
That
itself,
is correct.
I have spoken to the county administrator and asked for their consideration to do a shared service agreement. So I've spoken to 7 different towns that we are working with potential shared service agreements. So in the event that we don't get a health officer, or we can't get one because they're far and few between, we will have an alternative to it.
And what is the salary that you're offering Administrator Cruz? Just because if there is seemingly a shortage of health officers and we need to pull someone that maybe is already serving in that capacity in another municipality, we'll have to make it attractive.
Yeah, so currently the salary that was offered to the officer that left was $122,400. When you do the salary quizzing around the municipalities, it's actually a reasonable salary that the town actually offers.
So that seems to be in line with.
That is correct.
Great. And then I just want to make sure that in the search for a health officer or a shared service, I think our Board of Health is actually who goes through that hiring process before it comes before the board. Am I correct with that?
So the Board of Health will play a part in it. I actually spoke to the president of the Board of Health today. I had a conversation today.
So yes. Okay, thank you.
You want to add something to that? Do you want to add something?
You answer the question.
Okay. All right, let's go back to committee reports. Are there any other reports from the committees?
I do have a question of the police committee. I appreciate that there was a meeting. I didn't catch the date of the last meeting or the next meeting. And at the last regular session, I did make a request that our community celebrate our chief, Jonathan Delaney, for their exemplary leadership, not just here in Dover, but throughout the country. And I'm wondering if I missed that, if that's something the committee discussed, if there's a celebration or a recognition upcoming.
That's, you want me to address that, Jim? Yeah, so that was not discussed in the committee meeting, and that's something we'll consider.
And the dates of the meetings, the previous and the next?
I don't have them right now. I don't have them on hand. The meeting was last week sometime. Any other committee reports? Hearing none?
Sorry, I just want to, on behalf of the Health Committee, want to thank Ms. Sarah Paramount for her service to the town of Dover. Her last day covering Dover as our health officer was Saturday. So I want to thank her for her service and everything she's done to help our community. As I've come to discover over the past few years dealing with our Department of Health and pandemic-related things in my line of work and everything, it's hard to find people who are truly willing to help communities like ours, communities that are considered high needs. So and Ms. Paramount took that as a personal challenge and genuinely wanted to help our community. So I am very, very grateful to her for her service to our community and what she's done. And I'm grateful to have our new health nurse starting soon. So hopefully she can take up the baton and continue our health department on great things to help out our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, let's move on to public portion. Anyone in the public wish to be heard on agenda items only? Anything on the agenda, we'll have two public portions. If there's anything on the agenda, please step forward, state your name and address for the record. Be a second public portion at the end of the meeting. Seeing no hands and hearing no voices, I'll close this portion to the public. Tonight we have ordinances for first reading. We have ordinance 22, 2024, an ordinance of the mayor and the town council repealing a handicapped parking space at 8 North Marsh Street. Have a motion, please.
So moved.
Roll call.
Councilmember Estacio?
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz?
Yes.
Councilmember Santana?
Yes.
Councilmember Scarnio?
Yes.
Councilmember Tapia?
Yes.
Councilmember Toro?
Yes.
Councilmember Whitner?
Yes.
Mayor Dodd?
Yes. Ordinance 23, 2024, an ordinance of the mayor and town council providing a handicapped parking space at 7 West Cooper Street.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Estacio?
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz?
Yes.
Councilmember Santana?
Yes.
Councilmember Scarnio?
Yes.
Councilmember Tapia?
Yes.
Councilmember Toro?
Yes.
Councilmember Whitner?
Yes.
Mayor Dodd?
Yes. Okay, we have ordinances for second reading and public hearing. Ordinance 19, 2024, an ordinance of the mayor and town council of the town of Dover, County of Morris, state of New Jersey, adopting the East Blackwell Street Rutan redevelopment plan. Tonight, before I open this up to the public, this is second reading and public hearing or get comments from this board. Tonight we have Dean Donatelli, our redevelopment counsel, and John McDonough, our town planner.
Oh, God.
Representative here to explain exactly what took place. This plan, we approved the first reading, the introduction to it. It went to the planning board. The planning board gave it the blessing, and now it's back to this board. So I'm gonna ask you gentlemen to explain to this board exactly what the process was and what this second approval or denial does for this project. Mr. Donatelli?
Thank you, Mayor. For the record, my name is Dean Donatelli, this redevelopment counsel for the town. As the mayor stated, this ordinance to adopt the redevelopment plan for the referenced properties was introduced on September 10th, which is first reading. It was referred to by the clerk to the planning board for their consistency review with the master plan. And at that meeting, John McDonough, your planner, made a presentation to the commissioners, and there was a couple questions related to some of the bulk requirements. But Mr. McDonough put on a great presentation. I think the planning board was satisfied in their analysis of the master plan as well as the contents of the redevelopment plan. I'll leave that to Mr. McDonough, but the results of the planning board meeting was a letter back to the council, which was transmitted to the clerk. I have a copy of it. I'll just give you a summary of it. It states that they received the East Blackwell-Rutan redevelopment plan. They reviewed it. There was public comment, availability for public comment, but none was made. And they found ultimately under the local redevelopment and housing law that the proposed redevelopment plan was consistent with the master plan, which is a requirement of the local redevelopment housing law. And now, as the mayor indicated, it's back here for second reading and adoption. And as indicated, with me tonight is John McDonough, your planner, the town's professional planner, who's here to answer any questions you may have or give you a presentation to the extent you feel it's necessary. But thank you very much. That's all I have.
Thank you, Dean. Thank you. John?
Hi there, everyone. John McDonough, licensed professional planner, state of New Jersey. Good to be back again. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. This is really the second part of a two-part process in the redevelopment process. We were here, you may remember, a couple of months ago for redevelopment designation of 3 tax lots in your community, address 333, 337, 341 East Blackwell Street. At that time, the governing body designated this area as an area in need of redevelopment. We're going to take you back to some of the documents that were submitted then. And now we're looking at the second part, which is to create a redevelopment plan for this very special property at a visually prominent corner in the community. We tried to come up with a project that is appropriately scaled for the community and really harps off of what's in your master plan in terms of creating a gateway project on the east side of the community, providing for affordable housing and providing for compact economy of scale development here that's appropriate for the site that it's located on. And I think you'll see this is a relatively boutique scale type of project that is certainly not going to overpower the neighborhood. And really what a redevelopment plan is, it's a mini master plan, a mini zoning plan for a property that needs help, and we established that last time. So what I'd like to do, Mr. Chairman, is rather than take the governing body through the 30 or so pages, page by page, I put together a little exhibit here, which boils it down to about 5 or 6 pages and hits the key points for you. So,
Just before you begin, we didn't receive the 30 pages, or at least I did not. May I have those so I can follow along with your presentation, please?
I have one copy here. I have my own. You can certainly have it though.
Did anyone else receive them?
Sarah, do you want to make a copy?
Sure, I make copies.
I appreciate that, thank you.
And Mayor, if it's okay, I'll start handing out the
Yeah, let's proceed.
We're gonna go
Any questions, we'll come back to it.
counterclockwise.
Yeah.
Clockwise.
Oh, sorry.
Is the public gonna be able to ask questions? Oh, awesome, thank you. This time, right? Like we could ask.
Let me go first, let me do a little talking, and then I'll
John. September 10th agenda.
I'll put it on the record. Okay.
Redevelopment plan. September 10th, introduction.
I don't touch that drum. And just for the governing body, I'm told on September 10th, that redevelopment plan was included as part of your agenda package.
Yeah, okay, I was thinking it wasn't our agenda package.
Right, but at that time, we were told it was gonna go before the planning board meeting, and we couldn't ask questions at that time, and we would ask today, so I'd like to have it in front of us today.
Well, for clarification, every council member did receive it, correct?
Yes.
That's what you're saying.
It was electronically shared, correct?
I don't know how it was distributed, but
I
it's part of the
don't
agenda.
remember if we had a paper copy as well. I'd like a paper copy. If we had a paper copy, then I don't have it with me today.
Would you prefer that I go through this?
Yes. Please start. We'll come back to the 30-page report when copies are made.
Sure. So this is, I think, a 5 or 6 page exhibit. The first 2 are just going to be for orientation purposes. Again, we're looking at 3 tax lots that are on the corner of Rutan Drive and East Blackwell Street, just short of Samus Avenue as well. Lot 2317, lot number 1, lot number 2, and lot number met the criteria for area in need of redevelopment back a few months ago, and we give you a little snapshot in the upper right-hand corner as to the observed land use, which included a parking lot that was associated with a mixed-use building and a bar that has been closed for some time, and then a 2-family dwelling, which is immediately to the right of that. And the governing body found that this did meet the criteria for redevelopment as obsolete, as faulty design, and also in accordance with smart growth principles. The bar itself is found to be a substandard building, an abandoned building that was formerly used for commercial purposes.
John, for public reference, it's the old Sylvana's Bar on the corner of Rutan and
Yes, which I understand did have some history associated with it, some
It did.
problems along the way.
It absolutely did.
But it has certainly been abandoned and closed. And then we give you on page number 2, we give you sort of a bird's eye view, so you get a 3D perspective of what is approximately a half-acre piece of property. Again, it is a predominantly residential area, yet it's in a industrial zone. Your own master plan talks about eliminating the opportunity for industrial uses here because it is a flood-prone area and it is more appropriate for uses other than industrial, which is the current zoning here. That's why we're looking at a redevelopment plan that would introduce residential. We've got the railroad track in the back, and again, you can see the general character of the area from this 3D photograph. So we're going to take you through the main points of the redevelopment plan. There's just a bunch of bullets in here. We always start with the goals and objectives of why we're doing what we're doing and with a redevelopment plan here. And there are about 8 or so purposes that we're looking to achieve. Number 1, to reverse the ongoing stagnation and revitalizing a site that is certainly underutilized in its current context. Number 2, to create a gateway development to the community. So we're looking at something here where we've incorporated design standards in terms of the building design, in terms of the overall site design, that will create an attractive entrance to the community, again, at a visually prominent corner along East Blackwell. To create new housing stock that meets market demand, to provide for diversity of housing types and affordability, affordability being the key word here. We're going to keep coming back to that as we go forward. To create a realistic opportunity for affordable housing. Affordable housing does not serve its purpose if it sits on the shelf. We're looking at creating a realistic opportunity to build bricks and mortar affordable housing, and that is something we're looking to create opportunity here for someone that is ready, willing, and able to deliver affordable housing. To create development that is cohesive, unified, and attractive, we're looking at 3 separate lots, developing them as an integrated whole, which is right on point with that goal as well. To create development that will complement the area, we're looking at a 3-story building here in an area where we do see other 3-story buildings. This is not going to be your mid-rise of a 5-story, a 6-story, or a 100-unit type building. We've tried to come up with a plan here that will shape a nice boutique development that will complement the area. Again, to encourage high-quality design, both in terms of building standards and in site standards as well. And then finally, to promote the goals of the Town of Dover Master Plan. That's what your own planning board found last week was promoted, and we'll go back to that as well. So once we establish the goals and objectives, we look at the segments of the redevelopment plan. We always start with the use regulations, or the activities that would be allowed on the property. And first and foremost here, in terms of principal permitted uses, we're looking at multifamily residential or apartments. Again, looking at that economy of scale, that sharing of spaces, sharing of walls, sharing of entryways, sharing of parking, sharing of utilities, all goes towards economy of scale, which would meet contemporary market demand for residential housing. We also have a townhouse option here, and in the interest of open space, we have opportunity for parks and playgrounds as a permitted principal use as well. Next, we look at accessory uses, which have to be subsidiary to your principal uses. These are uses that are customarily incidental to the primary use, and examples here may include an indoor amenity, package rooms, maybe a common meeting space or workspace, and then outdoor seating space as well. Anything that gets people out in the fresh air, in the open air. We're looking particularly at passive recreation here, and we think that's a good thing from a planning standpoint. And then from a conditional use, we always look at having opportunity for essential services and public utilities as well that will support the development in the area. We do have a mandate in there that based on the unit count, there will be a provision for affordable housing with a 15% set aside for affordable housing for a rental project and 20% set aside for a for sale project. That's in accordance with state regulations as well. Next, we move from the use regulations to the bulk regulations, and this is how we control the mass and scale of the development and ensure that it will not overpower the area. So we first start with the minimum lot area, which is 20,000 square feet. This means that we can't develop this property in segments, but we have to look at the property as an integrated whole. This is a combined aggregate area that is just above that 20,000 square feet. So that number is nice there to ensure that we don't do this development in little pieces. Likewise for lot width, 150 feet. And then we establish yard setbacks on the front and on the side, where we're looking at 5 feet all around to provide a nice soft edge and help the building integrate with the natural environment in the surrounding area. We did not put in a requirement for the rear yard setback because that's where we back up to the railroad tracks, so there's no impacted party there. And obviously we're looking to optimize parking as well, so we think a parking or a building setback in the rear would take away from the effectiveness of optimizing parking. Next, the maximum building height, again, is 3 stories. We're looking at 45 feet as the maximum allowable here under the ordinance. The maximum impervious coverage, or the total lot coverage, would be 85%. That includes the building, that includes the parking area, and basically any hardscape area. So there will be 15% green space here as well, which is appropriate for a building type of this type. And once again, we have the affordable housing set aside, 15% for rental, 20% for sale. Next, we move into the design regulations. So we've now looked at the use, we've looked at the bulk, now we look at design aspects, and we start with parking. We have off-street parking requirement of 1.5 spaces per unit as a minimum here. Of that parking count, we have an electronic vehicle parking requirement, which will be 15% of the total supply minimum. And then also a bicycle parking requirement of 0.5 spaces per unit as a minimum. So we do have multimodal opportunities for transportation here as well. We have landscaping requirements with not only on the street side, but on the interior of the site. We've got street trees at 35 feet on center, which is an aggressive standard. Usually we see street trees at 50 feet on center. We're looking at 35 feet on center, so we're gonna have a nice tighter green canopy along both streets here. Parking lot also has landscaping requirements as well to ensure that it's just not an expanse of asphalt, but is broken up by landscaping. The lighting will be at 0.5 foot candles minimum, so we're not looking at something that's excessively bright here, but enough to provide for a safe outdoor environment. These lights are going to be downward directed. They're going to be dark sky compliant. You don't want to create a sky glow effect. And they'll be back shielded to protect any of the adjoining residential properties. And then the signage, if there is a name that's put on this building, would be in accordance with the town code. You know, your fire department will require an address for sure to be able to identify the property in the event of an emergency. Lastly, sort of the drier aspects of the presentation, and this is what your planning board found last week, that the redevelopment plan is consistent with the goals and objectives of your master plan. We start with your last master plan, your last full master plan, which goes back to 2007. The goals and objectives there: to promote public health, safety, morals, and welfare, to secure safety from fire, flooding, and other disasters, to provide adequate light, air, and open space, to promote appropriate population densities, to provide for a variety of residential uses, a desirable visual environment, efficient use of land, repurposing already developed land, and to encourage good design and layouts. And then under Mayor Dodd, you had your 2018 Master Plan Reexamination Report, which affirmed many of those older goals and really had emphasis on three key tenets in terms of goals and objectives. All of them are hit here: redevelopment, affordable housing, and gateways. All three of those elements are advanced here. In fact, the 2018 Master Plan Reexamination actually talked about this area as area number 5, with recommendations that it be rezoned, that industrial was inappropriate given the flooding characteristics of the area. So it was the conclusion that the redevelopment plan is consistent with the goals and objectives of the master plan. That's the key requirement in terms of the redevelopment law, and that was found by your planning board just last week, who are obviously the stewards of your planning policies here in the community. Lastly, legal considerations. This sort of segues back to Dean there. This is a non-condemnation redevelopment area. That means that the governing body, the municipality, has no power to take anybody's land without their consent. So this is not a condemnation redevelopment area. Town cannot use eminent domain for this site. This is no property, there's no property acquisition anticipated by this plan. Again, not taking property. There's not going to be any displacement or relocation necessary. The planning board has the power to amend the redevelopment plan. The planning board has the power to grant plan deviations, and the zoning board has no involvement. Any use or D variance here in terms of an excessive building, in terms of height, cannot be granted by the zoning board. So the only power for site plan rests with the planning board. In terms of next steps, we can check off number 1 there. The planning board adopts a resolution of master plan consistency. That happened last week. Next, you all come into play. The governing body adopts the redevelopment plan, and the redevelopment plan becomes effectively an ordinance that supersedes the zoning for this site. Then, next steps after that, the governing body would designate a redeveloper, enter into a redevelopment agreement. That redeveloper would then file a site plan to the planning board. So no shovels go in the ground tonight for sure. This is really just to start another step in the process. With that, Mayor and Council, I'll pause. I'm happy to answer any questions from the group, from the public. I know we have a lot of interested parties here.
John, I can just tell you that, after this, presentation, I can understand why you're the most sought after planner in the state of New Jersey.
Thank you.
So you pretty much covered, everything that I had anticipated or concerned with. Again, and this just sets the tone for the site.
Correct.
And I think that's the most important thing for this board and public to understand, that this just sets, you know, the actual parameters, for this site to move forward.
Yes,
Is that correct?
correct.
John, thank you very much for your presentation. I understood everything that you said and everything that's on this plan. And I just want to say that I 100% support this. I don't think we should have empty lots in Dover, especially for 10 years or 20 years. Empty lots, they promote crime. So we shouldn't have this lot, nor the one on Blackwell and Salem empty. It should be our goal to make Dover more beautiful, safer, and greener.
Greener.
More trees.
It is well documented in planning circles.
It is,
Thank you.
public hearing.
That's what I'm saying, if anyone wants to ask questions, they can see this.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few extra as well, if members of the public want.
You know, if anybody wants to review this, you could pass it around. If there's any questions, we certainly can come back.
Mr. McDonough, I do have several questions. Thank you, and I'm glad you're here. I do have a favorite planner though, so you may be sought after, but I trust the guy in the audience. Mr. McDonough, some of these questions may sound elementary to you because I'm not a planner or an engineer, and some of these may be answered in the document, thank you, that you have provided. But I asked them to ensure that I fully understand what we are doing before voting, and to ensure that the neighbors present understand, because they don't have all these documents in front of them, and to ensure that our neighbors watching online fully understand, because they certainly don't have these documents in front of them. And as I think I've mentioned before, our community has gone through several projects in the past 20 years. Penrose, for example, that has some affordable apartments, and that's going to be a whole round of questioning on what does affordability mean for this plan versus what it means for our community. I'll leave that part for last. And payment in lieu of taxes. I think we have 8, maybe 7 now. I think one was already completed. 8 payment in lieu of taxes, where these developments just pay a lump sum to the municipality. And none of those taxes go to our schools. And we recently had a failed referendum because we need a new school. So the funding is important. So I'm going to start with asking you about the actual building, the units, the parking, the landscaping, the lighting, and then I'll go to the affordability. So this actual building, I heard I may have missed something. You tell me what it wasn't. It wasn't 5 or 6 stories. How many stories is it? What are you selling us? What are you telling us we're going to have?
Says it very clearly.
Yeah, the plan would allow for
45
3.
feet or 3 stories.
Correct.
Mr. McDonough, I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Could you repeat that, please?
Sure. The maximum allowable number of stories is 3. That's the maximum allowable. So it could be even less. And the maximum height is 45 feet.
So we don't yet know if it'll be 1, 2, or 3, but we know it will be no more than 3?
Correct.
Okay, so there's no set in stone plan for 3 just yet.
Right, and if it exceeds that 45 feet, that will become a zoning board application, which can't happen.
Okay,
Can't happen.
so no more than 3. And how many units in this no more than 3-story building?
Parking is the driver here, and we've looked at spatially, approximately 30 spaces could go here. We have a 1.5 ratio, it's about 20 units.
Okay, so about 20 units, and these 20 units, they're all rentals, some are for sale, or not decided yet?
The redevelopment plan does not dictate one or the other. It's at the discretion of the redeveloper.
So we, this council, will have no authority to demand from the developer, we want some for sale, we want some for rent. They will do what they will do.
And I'll leave this to the lawyers, but as I understand land use, you cannot regulate by ownership.
Okay. But if we had inclusionary zoning ordinance, there would be some wiggle room possibly. The units though, no, about 20 units. 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom? Do you know the answer to that?
We'll let the market dictate that. It will likely be a mix of 1s and 2s here. Again, the restraint being the physical characteristic of the site. I'm anticipating probably a 50-50 split here.
Okay, so about 10 units, 1 bedroom, and about 10 units, 2 bedrooms.
Correct.
Okay. The parking. You said, or I heard, you may not have, I heard 1.5 parking. I don't have half a car. I have a whole car.
Order of the day.
And if we had two,
I'm sorry,
Isn't she off topic?
with respect to the plan? No. I think there are questions about the plan. I just want to clarify. You understand that this is a plan and it creates general restrictions or like ceilings, but this isn't the actual project or what will be there.
thank you, Counselor, I'm seeking to understand. So
I just want to make sure, I don't know if you understand what I just said though, that it is.
I understand what you are saying, yes.
Okay.
Thank you. So the parking. I heard 1.5 parking spaces. I don't have half a car. And if I were to rent a 1 bedroom, it would be with my husband and that would be 2 cars. So help me understand what you mean by 1.5 parking units.
That's derived at the fact that not every unit will have 2 cars. Some will have 1, some will have 2. We strike a balance at 1.5. So it's pure math.
And with the maybe hope that some will have none, right? So
Potentially.
if I'm a commuter, I hop on the train, I don't have a car, will someone else maybe be able to purchase the use of that space?
Yes, again, we don't mandate here that spaces be designated for the units. That's something that's going to be for the redeveloper to decide.
Okay. And then moving on to the landscaping, the next step would be for this plan to go before the Shade Tree Commission so they can review the landscaping plan?
I'm sure it'll go through the normal site plan process and all the reviewing agencies, including the Shade Tree Commission that looks at site plan will make their recommendations as well.
It's my understanding that the Planning Board and the Shade Tree Commission and the Fire Department, the Police Department, they should all be receiving this plan at the same time. Did the Shade Tree Commission receive this and approve the landscaping plan?
It's not a plan. I think somebody needs to explain to Councilwoman Ruiz, this
The
is not a
landscape
plan.
proposal.
Excuse me, I'm talking. This is not a plan. It doesn't go to the fire department, it doesn't go to the police department, and it doesn't go to the Shade Tree Commission until it becomes a plan. Then it goes out to those entities for their input and their requirements. But until that happens, this is only, like I said earlier, this sets the criteria. None of those entities will review it until it actually becomes a plan.
So
That's-
Mr. McDonough, what you're presented to or not you individually, right? But what has been presented to the planning board and what is now presented for the second time to this council has not been presented to the Shade Tree Commission yet, as far as you know.
I don't know where it goes once we submit.
Okay.
Again, there are requirements in the redevelopment plan for landscaping. There will be requirements there, and then obviously the Shade Tree Commission will make their recommendations based on what an applicant actually submits.
Okay. And then on the lighting, I thought I heard you say comments. I'm not sure what you said about the lighting. It sounded great. No lighting pollution, back covers. Can you just repeat what you said about the lighting?
Sure, there are really 3 things you always look, well, there's actually 4 things. One, you want to have a minimum lighting requirement to ensure that you have a safely illuminated area. We went with 0.5, that's about the light that you would get from a full moon on a clear night, so you can see people in a parking area. Then again, we don't want to create something that's overly bright. It is a residential neighborhood. We put back shields so that the light doesn't cast outward beyond the property lines. So it will be dark beyond the property lines. Downward directed, again, we don't want this to have a stadium effect associated with it. And then what we call dark sky compliant. Same thing, we don't want to glow over this site.
And so that 0.5, what unit of measurement is that? Or
Foot candle.
foot
We're
candle?
well above that in here, but in a park, it's a typical parking lot in your community.
Okay. So now I'm going to move to the affordability. You said, and it's written in here, that these are affordable. So in New Jersey has actual requirements for affordable. You said 1 bedroom, so let's say 1 person, very low income, affordable to very low income. The person must make $27,177 or less. But we have, at least thus far, pending any changes in housing law, met our low income, very low income, medium income, moderate income. We've met all our requirements for housing in terms of affordability in Dover. So when you say affordable, you don't have to comply with those regulations that the state of New Jersey and even the federal government sets. So what do you mean by affordable? If I make $30,000 a year, can I get a 1-bedroom apartment in this unit?
It's a percentage of what we call AMI, average median income, which is district related. That's how the state carves it out.
Yeah,
and I'd have to look at what all the.
It's 90,591 for 1 person, medium, in our region in Morris County. So it would be what, 1/3?
There's a breakdown. You get 1/3 of very low, which is a certain percentage of AMI. I believe it's 30%. And then you get low income, which I believe is 40% of AMI, and then moderate, which I believe is 60% of AMI.
And that's what you would follow, too?
Yeah, so you take the average income, then you chop it down to 20%, 30%, and 60%.
Okay, so you are following the state rubric?
Yes.
Okay.
You're going to get a diversity of unit types here, not only in terms of size, but in terms of affordability as well.
And I saw 15% for rentals in terms of affordability, and 20% if they were for sale. So if there is 20 units, not even 2 units would be affordable. Like what is 15% of 20?
Yeah, three units. Yeah.
So 3 would be affordable at any one of those, moderate, low, or very low.
Correct. So you probably get 1 of very low, 1 at low, and 1 at moderate.
And then the rest of the units would be market rate.
Full market, yes. And for what it's worth, at the end of the month, the state is going to tell each town what their affordable obligation is. So we'll brace for that.
Fingers crossed.
Yes.
Okay. And what is that? Well, when will this be finished? If it's all approved, all said and done, allowing for delays, can we see 20 new units, 3 of which would be affordable in Dover in 5 years, 10 years, 1 year?
I would say probably the more aggressive number, yes. And this is a plan that I think creates a realistic opportunity. This is not something that's going to sit idle. This is a site that's right there. It's not a big development, so I think it'll move quickly.
Okay, so as quickly as a year, we could see something there.
I would think so, yes.
Wow.
You still have to go through site plan, don't
Sure.
forget. You need to designate a redeveloper, and you need to go through site plan. So then it'll probably take a year to build after that.
So then if it is so soon, what is the market rate now? We're looking at apartments, 1 bedroom, what, 2,000?
I would say here, I'd have to go look at some of the real
Make a
estate.
motion to close the floor.
Oh my God.
2,000, I'd say.
2,000?
Need a second.
Okay.
Need a second.
Hold on.
That actually, Mr.
Excuse me,
McDonough, is the
Councilman
end of my
Perez.
question. Thank you so much for your help.
Is there any other council member that has any questions or concerns for Mr. McDonough?
I think I asked you these questions on the planning board, but just so everyone knows, the entrance to this building, it changes, right? It's not on Blackwell Street anymore.
It's on Route 10 Drive.
It's on Route 10 Drive.
That's correct. The curb cut will be on Lieutenant, not on Blackwell.
All right. All the questions that were asked before I asked you on the planning board, the 1.5 parking spots,
Pathetic.
that's a state thing, right?
That's a very common standard. Yeah, that's above what we typically would see for this building type.
Is the state usually 1.2 or 1.3?
Yes.
Okay. That's hard. I mean, it's very tough, especially with a lot. This is, in terms of a redevelopment project, this is a small project compared to other
I call it
projects.
boutique, yes.
It's not gonna be any bigger than what's there already. It's 3 stories possibly, or
Yes.
less.
I do have a question about the 3 stories and 45. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Route 10 is it's an issue with parking there, so with that 1.5, I mean, it's gonna spin off to that street, but I guess that's something we could discuss on the next step, as Mayor was saying before.
Yeah, I wanna just address that real quick. When you look at redevelopment standards, there are some projects that require one parking space per 1-for-1. And I say that because in today's world, not everybody drives a car. So I think when we built the Meridian project, it was 1.2 per unit. And yeah, it's just 0.2 above, and the way that works out is like you said, on an average. So it could be less. It could be a lot less vehicles than that, given approval, because not everyone drives a car now. We know Dover's a walking district, and I think what was impressive here in your numbers, I don't remember exactly what they were, but you had EV parking and bicycle parking as well.
Yes.
And so that also adds to the whole component. 15% for EV and 0.5 for bicycle.
Not to mention your bus lines as well.
Right.
So you have, your
But let's just say whoever rents from there buys, has no EV vehicle. Can they park in that parking spot, or is it like a handicap thing where you can't park there because you don't have an EV?
That can be,
Oh, that's-
that can be regulated during the site plan process, but I think we want to have those spaces available for sure. I think that's an amenity, but I think a non-EV parking, vehicle can park there.
And that's about 3 spots that we're talking.
Yes,
Out of the
it's
30.
another 15%, so we're back.
Yeah.
I do have a quick question, so, and just because my brain is not doing all the things here. So we're talking 45 feet, 3 stories, but slightly elevated to be above, I think I had heard at some point.
From a grading standpoint?
Yes.
That's really going to come down as part of the engineering process and deal with our flood management rules.
Okay.
So it may have to come up a little bit, but you may see that throughout the community now with sites coming up.
Right, that would make sense in that area. Yeah, in that area, definitely. Thank you so much.
Any other questions from this board? Thank you, John. We may have questions from the public.
I'm here.
This is second reading of public hearing. At this time, we're going to open up ordinance 19, 2024. To the public, anyone in the public wish to be heard on this project and this project only, please step forward, state your name and address for the record.
Maria Chacon, 82 East Blackwell Street, Dover, New Jersey. So I'm so glad that we have a public portion for this because we always feel excluded or it's already too late. I'm happy to hear 3 council people asking questions versus co-signing so quickly and eagerly and desperately. I am the HOA president for the Dover Park Plaza condominiums. And when they were built in the 1980s, they built parking spaces 1.5. Right now, our residents are struggling. We do not have enough parking spaces. We've been waiting for the town to respond to us since the beginning of the year. We've heard nothing back besides, I think, 1 or 2 emails that came to us. It's a reality that 1.5 is not going to work for the community because it's going to be a person, a partner, and maybe a child, and then the child grows up and they drive. Are they going to have to park outside and then it takes away from parking from the rest of the residents that live there? That was my concern. Parking is a huge issue in Dover and it's going to cause a huge issue over there. Also when we have rain, everything is going under cars on your ways. How are they going to do to improve the community overall? And is any money going to be allocated for a school for our students? Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Dennis, 223 DeSage Street, Dover. In that area on Samus and Blackwell is a coal tar Superfund site. That ground has been saturated from the old natural gas plant. That's why I glow at night. But anyway, that went all the way to that corner of Samus. Will that ground be tested for contamination?
Yes, certainly this site will have to be
Hold
water.
Hold on, can you just let Mr. Tui finish his comment and then respond?
No, I'm good to start, thank you. I was just curious if it's gonna be tested, then that's.
Just that one question.
Sure, this site will have to be brought up to residential living standards.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Osvaldo Rama, 361 East McFarland Street. I just want to encourage all board members to vote yes on this proposal. I'm tired of all this red tapes and people playing politics with the progress of Dover. It's about time Sylvanas, Meadows, what we used to call it back in the days, gets developed. There's a lot of people here playing politics. Don't listen to the politics. Vote your conscience. Dover needs that redeveloped. If somebody's concerned because they might grow a family and there might not be enough parking, perhaps they shouldn't move there. Maybe they can find a place suitable for a bigger family. That's for certain peoples who fit the criteria of the apartments that are gonna be there. So this is nonsense about parking. Oh, if I have a kid, but if I have a grandkid, we have to, come on, please. Vote your conscience, vote yes on this proposal. Don't let the politics interfere with your decision. Dover needs that place redeveloped. I know that place for the longest. Born in this town, 1965. Okay, I know what's going on in Dover. Put the politics aside, vote yes on this. It's a very good idea.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Christopher. I do not wish to give my address. Parking is a big issue. Whether some people may not take those parking spaces, it's still an issue now. So why wait until it becomes an issue to become proactive? You can't do that. We have to attack those issues now. There's already parking issues everywhere, not even just in Rutan. Even up by Penn Ave, I'm having issues where homeowners are actually putting cones on the streets to save their parking spot, which I don't think that's fair or even, is it legal?
No.
Because we all pay for that, right? Our taxes pay for that. Second of all, you can't just vote yes. You have to think about, our schools are overcrowded. What is more apartments gonna add? More traffic and more space for the kid. We have trailer parks for kids. So don't just vote yes. Think about the kids.
Hello, Council. Good evening. My name is Gisela. I live in Mine Hill. I do have a question. There was something mentioned about a duplex that's across the street from the every lot. You said something about that duplex. I just wanted you just to clarify what was that duplex going to be impacted and.
Basically what I said was the surrounding neighborhood is residential.
Yeah.
I don't know if that I specifically called out.
You did, that's why I came up here.
Duplex. There's a series of homes, building types in the area that are residential, multifamily, duplex, single family, detached dwellings. Again, this is a blend of that which is around it. So no impact on those homes around this.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else?
Mayor, if there's no more questions from the public, I do just have 2 additional questions based
Hold
on
please.
that.
Hold on, I'll consider that in a minute. Seeing no hands and hearing no voices, I'll close this portion to the public. And I do have a couple comments I want to make before you take the floor again, and then you make a motion to vote on this. One of the things that this council has an obligation to do is look at blighted areas in our community that are an eyesore, underdeveloped, and non-rateable. I'm going to tell you that Savannah's project that building has been a problem for many, many years. It's been abandoned. There's been people that are breaking into the building as we speak. It's dangerous. It's not safe. I think it's important to realize that this council, at least I can speak for myself on this fact, is that when we take projects like this into consideration, we consider the entire area. We don't just look at that specific project. We have residential homeowners surrounding this entire property. that right now their property values are being diminished because of the condition of this building. When you increase a property of a blighted area, you increase the property values of surrounding homes and surrounding buildings in that area. Again, this plan that's being approved tonight is not a project that's being approved. It sets the criteria for a project to be approved. When we look at the parking, I hear your concerns. The first thing I did when I came into office in January was to have Alex Doherty, our town planner, and for clarification, John McDonough is our planning board and board of adjustment planner in the town of Dover. Alex Doherty is our full-time town planner. I just want to clarify that for the public record. When I gave Alex the task of coming up with a comprehensive parking plan for the town of Dover, it was so big that it's 3 phases. There's 3 phases to the plan. The first phase includes overnight parking in the municipal parking lots. That has been completed and that is ready for implementation. We have now, our staff is working on reaching out to all of the surrounding buildings to notify them that that parking is now available. We will be doing a beta test from now until December 31st, when an ordinance will go into effect, and then the full parking plan goes into full enforcement. The second phase to the comprehensive parking plan that was done by Alex is the residential neighborhoods. We hear the public's outcry for there's no parking on the streets in the town of Dover. And I'm going to tell you that it's mostly due to stacking and overcrowding in our community. We have people living in attics and basements and sheds and garage, living in inhumane conditions, and that can't continue. In order to park in the streets in the town of Dover after January 1st, if this board approves it, you will need a parking permit to do that. Your vehicle must be registered to your address. If it's registered to your address, you'll get a decal for the back window. If you don't have a vehicle that's registered to that address, that vehicle can park in a municipal parking lot overnight for a fee. The third phase of the parking plan is the downtown business district, the new kiosks. The kiosks are over 20 years old now, and they live their life. So we have a consultant now that's working on a plan to look at another comprehensive public parking for the business district and the municipal parking lots. It's a 3-phase, very complicated plan that will be in effect completely after January 1st. Right now we're doing beta testing for that spaces overnight in the municipal lots, and then we will be implementing, if this board approves, the full-blown parking plan as of effective January 1st. So I don't want the public to think for a minute we're not taking into consideration the surrounding neighborhoods that are affected by some of these projects. But we can't continue to have a blighted site in our town that creates crime, encourages crime, brings down property values of surrounding homes in the area, but we also have to take into consideration the effect that it will have on surrounding homes. So that has been taken into effect in this plan. That has been done by Mr. McDonough. And so I fully support this plan. I have spoken to both councilmen in that ward. They fully support this plan. And it's something that I think, in all honesty, is desperately overdue. It's no different than I mentioned in my mayor's report earlier tonight about the train station in our community. It's a blighted site, it's an eyesore to our community, and it encourages crime. And that's what we're trying to eliminate. While we look at the safety in our community, we also have to look at the quality of life aspect. And when we do projects like this, it absolutely improves the quality of life. And I hear you when you talk about the schools. I'm very aware of how that works. When we talk about redevelopment, I don't pretend to be an expert, we hire experts. But for every 100 units, state statistics say that one school child comes out of every 100 1 to 2 bedroom units. John, I don't know if that number has changed since I was here last in 2019.
It has not.
It has not. So since I was here previously, that number remains the same. One school child in every 100 units. So again, that's a state average. Dover, of course, could be higher, but that's what we have to go by, right? Even if we take that number and double it or triple it, we're still looking at 2 to 3 school children. So when we look at the stacking and overcrowding problem in our community, everybody turns their cheek to it. The fact is that we have 100 school children per month, roughly signing into our school district. That's the problem here. That's the problem, and that's what we need to address. By addressing the parking issue in our community, we will also be addressing the stacking and overcrowding. You all, as taxpayers, are paying for renters taking advantage of less fortunate people. Renting a vestibule, putting a mattress on the floor, $500 a month. Renting an attic in inhumane conditions for an astronomical fee. And the landlords are the ones that are benefiting. You as taxpayers here tonight, you're the ones bearing the burden and the cost to allow that to happen. So we're going to address the stacking and overcrowding, we're going to address the parking, but we also have to look at the quality of life and enhancing and redeveloping blighted sites in our community. And that's what I support and that's what I stand for. At this time, Carol, do you have, Councilwoman Reese, do you have another comment?
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. McDonough, this was a great presentation, and I'm eager to support this project, naming the challenges of school and the challenges of parking. Does this council have any authority to demand that the developer include 1.75 parking spaces or 2 per unit? And do you have any knowledge under the current market conditions whether this project is feasible? It can be done without a payment in lieu of taxes, or is that something we should brace ourselves for?
Towards the second question, I don't know that will come down the road, the payment in lieu of taxes. Certainly, in the interest of providing a realistic opportunity for affordable housing, the pilot is always something that helps that process through. So I would certainly not encourage the governing body to foreclose that potential that's down the road. What was the first question?
Authority to demand additional parking.
Right. You're certainly not handcuffed by what I put before you, but I will say this has gone through the appropriate layers of scrutiny through a licensed professional planner in the state of New Jersey, through your own planning board, that the parking supply here will meet the actual demand and is in accordance with industry standard for a development of this type, in a location of this type, in a community of this type.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. I close the floor to the public. At this time, I'll make a motion to approve this project. We have a second. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Estacio?
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz?
Yes.
Councilmember Santana?
Yes.
Councilmember Scarnio?
Yes.
Councilmember Tapia?
Yes.
Councilmember Toro?
Yes.
Councilmember Whitner?
Yes.
Mayor Dodd?
Yes. Okay, we have approval of our bills list, resolution 257. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Estacio?
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz?
Yes.
Councilmember Santana?
Yes.
Councilmember Scarnio?
Yes.
Councilmember Tapia?
Yes.
Councilmember Toro?
Yes.
Councilmember Whitner?
Yes.
Mayor Dodd?
Abstain. Alex, Dean, and John, I want to thank you for what you presented to this council tonight. I'm confident this is a good project and it'll definitely benefit our community. I know you guys have other commitments tonight, so you certainly don't have to stay for this meeting. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we have approval of resolutions for our consent agenda. We have resolution 258 authorizing the town clerk to advertise for receipt of bids for the installation, removal, and storing of holiday decorations. Resolution 259 authorizing the town clerk to advertise for receipt of bids for improvements to the health department. Resolution 260 approving individual to be removed from membership in the Dover Fire Department Volunteer Division. Resolution 261 approving volunteer fire department members. Resolution 262 establishing policies and procedures for the payment of claims, claimant signature for payment pursuant to NJSA 40A:5-16, NJAC 5:30-9A6, and NJSAC 5:31-4.1. Resolution 263 amending Resolution 212, 2024. Resolution 264 approving a junkyard license. And Resolution 265 endorsing the State of New Jersey Department of Transportation Guide Rail Upgrades North Contract 2026. 258, okay.
Yeah, so I think think it's kind of ludicrous that.
Just a point of order, do we need to remove that from the consent agenda then for discussion, Mayor? Yes.
No, just a quick question.
If there's no questions on consent agendas,
Hold on, please. The question is, we have a consent agenda, and there's a resolution that there's a question on. In order to question that resolution, does it need to be removed from consent, or can it stay on as part of the consent agenda?
Depending on the question, I would recommend that it be removed and you discuss that separately. It would lead into the different discussions, so.
All right, so let's hold off on that, thank you.
Yeah.
Amy. We will remove resolution 258 from the consent agenda. So you'll be voting tonight on resolution B, C, D, E, F, G, and H. A, we will come back to for discussion. I'm going to ask for another motion now to remove resolution 258.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Yes.
Wait, are we voting on removing or are we just voting on the consent?
You don't want to remove it?
you can remove it, you don't need to vote.
Yeah, I can move on. Correct.
Without it.
That's where you can move to vote the rest right now and then you
All
can.
right, so do that. B through H. Motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Estacio,
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz,
Yes.
Councilmember Santana,
Yes.
Councilmember Scarnio,
Yes.
Councilmember Tapia,
Yes.
Councilmember Toro, Councilmember Whitner,
Yes.
Mayor Dodd.
Yes. Okay, now we have resolution 258. The motion, please.
Motion. Second.
Motion and a second. Questions?
So I just have a suggestion. So I guess in the prior years we were paying 160K just to store like the Christmas stuff, right?
No.
No?
Absolutely not. The contract that we signed for Christmas decorations includes installing them, removing them, maintaining the lights, burnt out bulbs, maintaining the decorations, and then storing them, so it's not just removing them. The contract that we authorize is for the installation, the maintenance, and the removal, and then storage for the summer months.
So I wanted to ask, wouldn't it be like cheaper if we just buy like a trailer and we just store the stuff ourselves and clean it ourselves and just have?
If you wanna hire 10 more DPW workers.
I mean, wouldn't it be cheaper?
We weighed our options when we decided to install all the Christmas decorations on Blackwell and JFK Park. And in order to store all the decorations, I think it was a total of 5 tractor trailers. And then the maintenance and installation would probably take DPW a month to install or more. They come down with several crews, they install all the lights on Blackwell with bucket trucks. The town of Dover has 1 bucket truck, which would take an extensive amount of time. So, and it's not just the installation and the removal, it's the upkeep of replacing burnt out bulbs, maintaining them as well. So I know it's expensive, but that's throughout the state. We're not unique to that. Any other questions on 258? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Estacio,
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz,
Yes.
Councilmember Santana,
Yes.
Councilmember Scarnio,
Yes.
Councilmember Tapia,
Yes.
Councilmember Toro, Councilmember Whitner,
Yes.
Mayor Dodd.
Yes, we have resolution 266 approving taxi memos to be licensed in the town building. Motion, please.
Make that motion?
Roll call.
Councilmember Estacio,
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz,
Yes.
Councilmember Santana,
Yes.
Councilmember Scarnio,
Yes.
Councilmember Tapia,
Yes.
Councilmember Toro, Councilmember Whitner,
Yes.
Mayor Dodd.
Yes, resolution 267 approving handicapped driver's licenses.
So move.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Estacio,
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz,
Yes.
Councilmember Santana,
Yes.
Councilmember Scarnio,
Yes.
Councilmember Tapia,
Yes.
Councilmember Toro, Councilmember Whitner,
Yes.
Mayor Dodd.
Yes. Okay, we'll go into old and new business from this board. Anyone from this board have old business or new business?
Mayor, if there is no old business, I do have new business.
Very good.
I sent an email earlier this afternoon to yourself, Ms. Petoni, Mr. Cruz, and Mr. Rivera, an ordinance for presentation, not an ordinance, a resolution for presentation from the floor. So if I may, I'd like to just discuss that. Nearly 2 weeks have passed since we learned that a member of our community suffered an injury due to an alleged result from Councilmember Sergio Rodriguez.
So I do want to jump in on this.
Sure.
Jump in on that, please.
I did see that a resolution was sent around 4:15, 4:30 today.
Yeah.
A draft of a resolution which our office did not have a chance to review.
Okay.
And we haven't reviewed or verified any of the information that's in that is accurate. I don't know who wrote it, I don't know where it came from. While you're free to discuss and make any comment you'd like regarding that, I will say this to this body. One, I'm recommending strongly against passing that resolution tonight, as it has not been vetted by us. There's information in that resolution that may be accurate or may not be accurate because I don't know where it came from. This matter is a criminal matter that's being investigated and reviewed by, I believe, the county prosecutor's office as well as our local authorities, and it is premature for this body to take any action, in my opinion, based upon what you may think you know or what may be alleged with respect to one of your council members. So I strongly urge that you hold off on making a motion or take any action relative to that matter as it's premature. We don't know where it's going to end up, and we don't know what the outcome's going to be, and it's certainly contrary to a presumption of innocence in this country that all members have. So that's one with respect to the resolution. Further, with respect to discussions about the issue of the matter, it's also consistent, and my advice is that this council refrain from having any discussions. The public's free to make any comment they want. We can't control that as long as it's within the bounds of the law, but as a council, you'll be held responsible for what you say or what you don't say and actions you take as this matter is pending. And I would certainly recommend that you be circumspect in what you said today, given that we don't really know what happened other than what we've seen or heard. I've not received any official communication from any law enforcement entity saying here's what happened and here's what we know. There's certainly things on social media, but I would absolutely recommend against relying on anything on social media as you don't know where it came from or whether it's accurate.
Sure. So then perhaps allow me to amend my resolution to discuss what we do know, which is that this has occurred prior.
Mayor, can I, and I don't mean to interrupt you, Councilwoman, just
Can I
procedural.
finish?
It's just a point of order on that.
Can you please allow Councilman?
It's okay. I will.
Continue, and you'll have the floor when it's your opportunity.
I will defer to Councilmember
Just-
Williams
So
for
are
a
you
question.
done now with what you're
No,
saying?
I
Please,
just want to
because
ask
Stop.
about new
I'm asking you to
business.
please stop.
I'm yielding my time.
You're yielding your time, so you're done with what you're.
I may come back to it. I may come back to it depending on what she says.
Councilor Rivera, my question is only about new business and Robert's Rules of Order. My understanding is one way we can use new business is I want to discuss apples and Dover. And so I bring up apples and Dover under new business. We talk about apples and Dover. It's auto, here come the apples. It's not on the agenda. We discussed it today. We agree, or the mayor and the clerk agree, that next agenda, apples and Dover will be on the agenda. So we can discuss this today with respecting your advice. It's not on the agenda today. There will be no vote today. And should this body as a whole, or those responsible for the agenda, the mayor and the clerk, decide to put it on the agenda next time, that can be done. And if that decision is made, of course, it would give enough time for council to review. Is that an accurate understanding of new business?
You're not talking about apples, right? So, I mean, your discussion has to do with a much more complex matter that involves an individual's rights and the council's potential liability. So, my advice to you was just, if there's a discussion or you have questions, you're free to ask questions, but if you're going to make statements or comment about something that you don't actually know what happened, my recommendation to you is to be very circumspect in those statements, because this is not just a matter that's before you, it's a matter that could involve criminal outcome or not, and I certainly would recommend that you not weigh in on something that's pending. This would be an advice on any matter that involves a pending investigation, to wait and see before you comment or make statements or make a motion to pass a resolution and take an action based on what you've heard.
Thank you.
You kind of figured out where I was going. Thank you. So in light of your legal advice, which I respect, and the fact that you didn't have enough time to review this, I also respect that. I do want to discuss what we do already know, which is that this has occurred already. We do know for a fact that this has occurred already. We do know that the individual in question has not yet seen their day in court for this. So yes, there's things that we can't comment on and we shouldn't comment on. I would like for our counsel and for our legal counsel and our counsel to consider censure of Councilmember Sergio Rodriguez for past actions, alleged actions, because we cannot force an individual to resign. We can certainly ask an individual to resign. The mayor has asked that he resign. I have asked that he resign. Councilmember Ruiz has asked that he resign. Many members of the community have asked that he resign. We cannot force an individual to resign. Certain members of this council have used censure in the past. So we know that that is an available tool to us if we find it is necessary, or if we find that it is in the best interest of our council and our community to censure a member of the council. That is an option available to us. I won't comment any further on that because of the legal considerations, but I would like that to be reviewed for potential inclusion.
And I think you're carefully drawing the line, talking about old business to talk about something new.
I said this was new business.
No, but you're relying upon a prior incident, and so.
But we've never censured them before for this.
All I'm saying is that you prepared something and it needs to be reviewed, and I recommend that you give us time to do that.
Okay.
And if there's another time where this body's going to meet, which will probably be in 2 weeks, that's something you can address then. But we would at least have an opportunity to review it and ensure that what you're voting on is accurate.
Sure. I will request review for inclusion for the following meeting. Thank you.
And I do have a question, Mayor, about censure. Counselor, our town of Dover employees, and I believe every single council member, are required to follow the town of Dover employee handbook. And so some members of our community, right, because they work here and also live here, may have been disciplined for any number of allegations. And then maybe there's a hearing and they're reinstated, or maybe there's a arbitration, litigation, and whatever discipline was given is retracted. So I certainly don't want this council to vote on a censure and then later it wasn't done correctly. Council didn't approve it, right? And then we have to backtrack. So I deeply appreciate that. How do we do it correctly? Should any council member want to move to censure another council member, what do we as council members need to do to ensure we're doing that correctly?
Okay, so first issue you brought up is that yes, you are members of a body, but you are also, in essence, employees or treated as employees here. And so with these same protections that the employees get, we certainly want to afford to you as council members. And I believe you recall that there were prior rights notices issued with respect to the incident that happened earlier. That certainly is something that needs to happen before there's a detailed discussion about any action that's taken. With respect to what you do in a censorship application or a motion, I would strongly recommend that you rely upon facts that are verified prior to taking any action. So I don't know if in a month, 2 weeks, or whatever, that you'll have those facts, because these things take a long time. And so if you're relying upon what may have been a charge or something that may just be out there in terms of what you're hearing, that's not a fact you can rely upon, in my opinion, and I'd recommend that you take an action to censor on it. Because if things come out later that indicate that those facts were somehow incorrect that you were relying upon, now you take an action against someone based upon something that you may have changed. Right now, I don't think anyone affirmatively knows what the outcome of this will be. So I think we should wait until we have something we can rely upon.
And would an Open Public Records Act, OPRA, request for video be fact enough? Or when you say fact, are you talking about the outcome of a decision in a legal criminal court or any other proceeding? are facts what I can see with my eyes as a public record on video. And I'm not being facetious, I'm serious. Because
Well, I just am
video.
surprised that you're an attorney, you understand what we rely upon in terms of evidence, and certainly what might be on video and what you might end up seeing as an outcome are two different things in terms of like.
Well,
I
that's why
can verify that video is actually something you can rely upon to censor, because you're only taking action. That's different than.
That's why I'm asking, because in criminal court, it has to be beyond a reasonable doubt, right? In civil court, it's a lesser standard. In administrative law, it might be a different standard. Certainly a lesser standard in the court of public opinion. So a video from our police department, right? Body cam video, a video from a security camera at a local business, right? Does that count as fact? So that if it's not going to count as fact, then I'm not going to bother making an Oprah request.
They're facts, but I don't know where the end of this will be in terms of whether there will be something that's upheld in court or not. We don't know. So my point is rely upon what you and your heart believe is factual, but certainly something that we can verify and your legal counsel says that's sufficient, at that point. I haven't seen anything, so I can't confirm it, but certainly video and other things may help to get to that.
And other than the facts, what do we need for censure? Do I need to go to the employee handbook and say, section 2.3 of the employee handbook was violated, or section 1.2 of the Ethics Act was violated? What would I need to show to actually meet the standard of censure?
I'm not aware, there's not a legal standard for censure that I'm aware of. Robert's Rules provides you have the ability to do it, and it's based upon acts that you as a body would think would not be reflective or conduct becoming of a member of the council.
Thank you.
I have some new business. I have a letter that somebody wanted me to share to the board. So it goes, Dear Board, I hope this letter finds you in good health and high spirits. My name is Raquel Cooper, and I am an associate
Objection, Mayor, I'm sorry, not objection. Mayor, point of order. I know this has been done before, but if members of the public can submit letters to be read, I think that's great. I fully support that. And I know that we did it one time, you did it, Mayor, one time for someone, but I don't believe we do allow that from currently. And if we're going to allow it, I'd love that. I know several people that would.
Is that to the mayor and council?
Yeah.
So that should be on municipal correspondence. So you'll need to give that to Tara, and Tara can add it to the municipal correspondence.
So as long as people address the mayor and council, it counts as municipal correspondence and we read it from the dais?
We don't have to read it from the dais, it can go on the agenda. It will be attached to the agenda as municipal correspondence.
Thank you, Mayor. Just because so many members of our community want to write in.
Yes, so communications that are addressed can be added to
To the mayor and council.
Yep, and there's a section under G that says municipal correspondence, and it can be attached for the public and the
It
council.
won't be read into the public, into the actual public minutes, but it will be attached to the agenda. Can we do that for the next meeting? Yeah. Thank you. Okay, at this time, I'll open this portion to the public. Anyone in the public who should be heard on any item, please step forward, state your name.
Over New Jersey. First of all, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to thank you for the work that has been done on Fred Terrace. Curbs and aprons to the driveways, and sidewalks, look good. Masonry work was completed today by Spelling Construction Company. And I know that the pavement of the road is scheduled for tomorrow to be done. Also, since I originally brought up this issue with this intersection of Van Ostrand Reservoir and Prospect Street to you, I know you've made several good-hearted attempts with the state to try to resolve this problem. I'm not sure that what's being done is going to have any impact on that intersection, being the way that people drive today. I don't necessarily think that narrowing the road is going to make an impact. Perhaps I'm wrong, I don't know. But we do have an intersection that was on Audrey, Overlook, and Winthrop, in which a four-way stop sign intersection was installed. Perhaps I'm wrong, but I don't think that the problems at the intersection come close to the problems that we're having at the intersection mentioned above. And I don't understand how the DOT would ever can improve a four-way stop sign at that intersection, but not approve a four-way stop sign at the intersection that was mentioned before. Being that the intersection, I think, is far more dangerous than the one where the four-way stop sign was installed. Also about the parking. All right, let's say we have a vehicle parked in front of my house. Owner of that car is a legitimate owner or person that's supposed to be living in that house. And what's going to happen if they're not? What's going to happen to that car? I mean, is it going to be towed away, or what's going to happen? I mean, anybody can go down and say, I live at such and such an address and get a decal. I mean, what steps are going to be taken to make sure that the person who owns that car is actually a legitimate person living at that address? And perhaps Councilman Estacio can comment further on this noise ordinance. I mean, I brought it up before about these cars, you know, who blast music.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, your time is up.
Perhaps he could comment further on what steps the police are going to take to start enforcing this ordinance instead of not doing anything.
I will address your concerns at the conclusion of the public portion. Anyone else in the public wish to be heard?
Good evening. I'm Mary Washington, 218 Park Heights Avenue. I would just like to know now, is Councilman Rodriguez being paid while he's not sitting on the board? Is that something that the public should be privy to?
Are you done with your comment?
Yes.
You address it at the end, or?
I'm going to address all the questions at the end, but just so I understand your question properly, I'm sorry, ma'am. Are you asking, is Sergio being paid while he's not here? Is that
Yes, I mean, is he suspended or whatever the situation is
When
with him?
everybody, I will respond to your question at the end, yes. Thank you. Anyone else?
Go ahead.
Thank you. I just wanted to say that it is a fact that Maria Chacon, 82 East Blackwell Street. I just wanted to say that it is a fact that Sergio Rodriguez, councilman that sits here, Dover, New Jersey, was arrested. He was charged with aggravated assault, third-degree crime. So the lawyer here mentioned that the council people here should also be considered as employees of the town. And in my job, if I assaulted two people, I wouldn't be sitting there. So I am just floored that nobody's speaking up. I understand, Mayor, that you finally said, I want your resignation. But if we would have asked that in the beginning, maybe this second assault wouldn't have happened. But I thank you for asking for it. But I am waiting for Giovanni Stasio to ask for it, Mike Scarnio to ask for it, A.B. Santana to ask for it, and Marcos Tapia to ask for it. What is going on? I mean, if somebody assaulted your family, would you still donate to them or something? I don't understand. We're living in an upside-down world in Dover. These are our tax dollars that are paying their salaries. People are here trying to get elected again, like Giovanni Stasio, and nobody's asking for Sergio's resignation. We want it. We want it now. Thank you.
Osvaldo Rama, 361 East McFarland Street, Dover. I don't think anybody should be censured or asked to remove. Sergio Rodriguez is a nice alderman who's been charged with a crime and has not been convicted.
2 crimes.
Has not been convicted of any of the crimes. So until the process goes through the legal system, I suggest you all cool it down. I know it's politics. You're trying to get everything in before November 5th for the elections. Sergio is a good man. He's a father. He's a husband. He's a son. He's a brother. He's got a mother. He's got a grandmother. He's got a family. I have been charged with aggravated assault in the past. And you know what? I was found innocent. Can you imagine if they lynched me because they charged me? Huh? Don't you want that same respect?
Their videos.
Okay? Videos can be edited. In this day and age, I just saw Donald Trump endorse Jimmy Dye for mayor in Dover. You think Donald Trump really did that? But I saw the video. So don't get fooled by videos. Until the criminal court case is over, nobody should be doing anything against him. Now, that being said, if Sergio's listening to me, I ask Sergio Rodriguez to please resign. Not because of all you guys that want to lynch him, but for the sake of his family, of his kids, of his wife, of his mother, his grandmother, his brothers and sisters. Dover is not worth it. These people that want to lynch you, they're not worth it. Sergio, do the right thing for your family, for your daughters, for your wife. Save your marriage. Don't let these people get away with it. And mind you, I'm with you all the way. Because if I live at Meridian Tower and I see a guy with his penis outside, his pants down here while I'm walking with my wife and kids, I think I would have punched them out too. So you got here, people here are just so easy to judge. Be in his shoes. Live there with your kids, with your wife, and see that kind of thing every day, every day, every day. Let's rename Meridian Tower. All you guys that are supporting these bums, because that's what they are, bums. There's good people and there's bums. You guys are supporting bums. Why don't we just call it the ghettos at Meridian, or the Meridian ghettos, because that's what you guys want to turn it into. We got to clean that place up. Mayor said that he already had some meetings with the people there. Hopefully those are productive. We got to clean it up because luxury apartments, they're not. With stuff like that going on in the front, anybody here on this board want to see like 15 videos that I have that you guys haven't seen? And you guys will understand why Sergio's upset. Now let's stop with the bullshit about wanting to lynch this guy. Let him get his time in court. Because he's a good man. He's a good man who has passion for what he believes in. Live there and be in his shoes and then lynch him. I'm tired. I'm tired.
That's pretty impressive.
Innocent to proven guilty. Never forget that.
Good evening, Mayor and Town Council. I want to commend the mayor. I'm sorry, I always forget to do that. Deb Acevedo, 71 Penn Avenue. I want to commend you for the cultural extravaganza we had the 28th. It was a very well organized event. It's too bad that the rain got the best of us, but I look forward to perhaps next year having good weather. I got to eat Puerto Rican food in a long time. So thank you, I really appreciate that. It was a great event.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hi, I'm Dennis, 223 Passaic Street, Dover. Now, I hear what people are saying and that, but is there a process, and I've seen it here before with Dennis the Easter Bunny, that since he is a town employee, that he is suspended until his court cases come up. That is, then he's innocent till proven guilty comes into play. But I've worked for a major corporation also, and people have been suspended until things got ironed out, and whether it was wrong or it was right. I'm hoping that the Dover Police Department just doesn't arrest people and put out arrest reports just for the sake of doing it. I mean, an action had to take place, and it doesn't matter the name. An action took place that warranted an arrest of somebody. And that's the bottom line of this, that this is what happened. So, and we are taxpayers, and I've heard many people sit on this side of the podium saying, I'm a taxpayer and this and this and this. So, I'm not saying, lynch the guy, but I'm saying that for the safety, and it doesn't matter if you're a bum or the mayor of this town, if someone creates violence on you, you have due process of the law. That's how this works. That's how the amendments work. So, you know, I don't see why not suspending him, taking him out of the eye of the people hurts anything. And until things get ironed out, then go from there. But that's just how I look at it, and that's my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. Again, and I will not be giving my name or address for this one. I want to say, backtrack to that. I don't encourage violence. I don't care if you are a bum and you are under the influence. You just don't commit violence. You call the police. Maybe that's why the police haven't been able to get those people. Because a lot of people just pull out their cell phones if you have any of the video, you know. Second of all, this is thuggish behavior, regardless if he's proven guilty or not. I believe it's thuggish behavior completely, especially from a council person. You hold to certain standards. I don't know what that book, the book that you guys have, the council, what is it called?
The handbook.
The handbook that you guys have? I'd love to get my hands on that. I don't know if it's possible. But I do not promote violence. If you want to do violence, go do jiu-jitsu. Go do kickboxing. The streets of Dover is not it. We're worried about the kids. What about the kids witnessing this violence? It's just not acceptable. And I expect a lot more council people to speak up about this. This is not just a one-time thing. It's now twice, allegedly. But enough for the cops to be involved. Second of all, what's going on with the view? I've been back there. There's still garbage, regardless if you guys still have no trespassing signs and all that other stuff. I reached out, Mayor, to, I forgot who you told me to reach out for the adopt a spot. Got no response. Haven't gotten a response for, I think, 3 months now. I'm ready to commit civil disobedience. I'll give you the date if you want to have police officers there. If you guys want to arrest me, I don't really care. It's not right. There's animals, deer. Like, deer are very friendly. They'll walk up to you if you want to. But there's glass shards everywhere. I don't know if anybody's been back there. But yeah, I'm ready to commit civil disobedience if no action is being taken. And I'll give you a date when I will commit it. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Good evening, Dominic Tiffany, Elm Street, over there, board. I just have two simple questions, being that the attorney's here and the new administrator. Live stream. Are we live streaming?
I don't think they are.
We are not.
No,
We are not. And are we going to be live streaming from now on?
And I'll finish when you're done.
When I'm done, okay.
I'll just bring it.
All right, because, okay, let's go to the town Facebook page. Who runs the town Facebook page? Anyone?
Your comments will be addressed at the end.
Okay.
You can ask your questions and then we're done.
Well, when you have a town Facebook page, you are not allowed to block people on it. It's a public live thing. And people are being blocked from the town web page. And I just wanted to address that so you know that on record. Thank you.
Anyone else in the public wish to speak? Seeing no hands and hearing no voices, I'll close this portion to the public, and I want to address some of the comments, not all, but some that were made here tonight. Mr. Brannigan, for your information, I just want to thank you for your comments on Fred Terrace. I've been up there several times throughout the construction, and it's going extremely well. Cifelli turned out to be a very good contractor, and they've done everything we've asked them to do, and then some. So that project will be completed for the most part tomorrow. As far as your intersection comments with Reservoir, Van Ostrand, and Prospect, we had several meetings out there with the County Morris. They did 2 different traffic studies. The first traffic request that we had was a traffic light. They denied it, that it didn't warrant the criteria for a traffic light. They said that the main component to the problem on that street is speeding. It's a 25-mile-an-hour zone, and the average vehicle speed is 37 miles an hour, average. I've been on that street several times with Councilman Estacio, Councilman Rodriguez, with our town administrator watching the traffic flow, and they're flying 50, 60 miles an hour. We were there with the county officials on several occasions when their vehicles were speeding down the street. So they did a second study. First one did not warrant a traffic light. The second study did not warrant a stop sign. This is all county roads. All three are county roads, and unfortunately, they have to go by the criteria that's met by the state requirements. Didn't meet the requirements of a traffic signal, didn't meet the requirements of a stop sign. We received the recommendations today, and I can share them with you. I have them in my office. Narrowing the roadway on Reservoir, approaching Prospect and Van Ostrand, sidewalks, shoulders, and bump outs. Also narrowing Van Ostrand on the intersection as well, down to 10.5-foot lanes. Currently, right now, they're 15, 16, 17 feet. Very wide lanes encourage speeding, very narrow lanes slow vehicles down. That's their approach to it. In addition to crosswalk striping and signage, this is an attempt. And then they will do additional traffic studies. In our police committee meeting and with our administrator, we had asked Chief Delaney to have radar periodically on that street to hopefully, I remember when I was a kid, we didn't speed in Mine Hill because if you were speeding in Mine Hill, you're gonna get ticket. It was that simple. So hopefully, between the combination of all these things, it will work. I can tell you for a fact that narrowing roadways do work, and we learned that at Orchard, Crescent Field. We had a lot of speeding with the children there. We narrowed that intersection several years ago, and that bottleneck absolutely forcing vehicles to slow down. So hopefully that will help. We have to work with the county and what they're willing to give us. So that should be done, like I said, hopefully within 30 to 60 days once we approve it, and we'll give it a test period to see how it works and then revisit it. Hopefully it works. Ms. Washington, I do want to say that all the council members here are being paid a salary, and that will continue until something happens with Sergio, whether he either is suspended, resigns, or appropriate action is taken. Also want to respond to the fact that it's easy to be a Monday morning quarterback, and any of you who know me know that I give second chances to everyone. When this first occurred, I made that statement that everyone deserves a second chance. You heard my comments, I put them immediately out on social media. We now have to wait, and I will be one to take our legal team's advice on how to address this issue. We are not experts in the law. That's why we hire and surround ourselves with professionals. We have a recommendation by our legal team here tonight, and I'm prepared to take that recommendation. That's my objective. If this board chooses to do something different, so be it. I won't support it until our legal team has an opportunity to review all of the evidence and make a recommendation back to this board. I also want to go back to Mr. Brannigan on your concern about parking. In order to get a decal for your vehicle, you will be required to provide proof that that vehicle is registered to that address. You have to come in with a vehicle registration. If it's registered to that address, you will then be issued a parking decal for overnight parking on the street. If it's not, you will not get a decal. You will not be permitted to park on the streets in Dover overnight. I've been doing research. Many towns don't have parking at all on streets. Wharton, you can't even park on the street overnight. So if we address it for town residents, I think you're going to see a major difference. The other thing it's going to do is enhance our certificate of compliance. If your vehicle is registered to that home address, then you must be a tenant listed on that certificate of compliance. Otherwise, you're stacking and overcrowding. There's many components that were given serious thought on how to address this, and I think that we have most covered. There may be several that we didn't think of, and that's why we're going through the beta test period to see how it's going to work. I think, in all honesty, it's a very comprehensive plan. It's going to take some getting used to by members of our public, but overall it's gonna enhance the quality of life in our community. And then lastly, I just wanna address, I think his name was Chris, I don't know if he's still here. He had mentioned the view. I'm curious whether he's talking about the actual street or up in the woods. I'm not familiar with
Mayor, if I may.
what he was referring to.
I can, so there's a walkway that goes in the back where in our community, as you may know from the records of the Methodist Church, they used to burn Ku Klux Klan crosses on that rock, on that hill. You know exactly where I mean.
I do.
That place now is, people go there to meditate, to hike, to drink, to use drugs, to smoke, and that's where the glass is coming from. People will also throw the glass bottles against the rock, and then there's broken glass everywhere. So every year, for the past, we started this in, I think, 2014, a group of us have been going up there at least once a year. Chris's group goes, I think, 3 times a year to clean it up. Last year, the no trespassing sign was put up. So now residents can't go up there to hike and also can't go up there to clean up. But our DPW, as you know as well as I do, doesn't have the staffing or the time to go clean it up. So it just gets dirtier and dirtier. We've proposed making it, or I proposed including a garbage can there, a recycling bin there, and making it a monitored public space, but that would of course be costly because now you have to, if it's a public park, you have to maintain it, you have to maintain the hiking trails. There's liability if somebody falls off the cliff. So rather than civil disobedience, we could certainly provide permits to any organized group willing to clean it up if our DPW doesn't have the time or the staff to clean it up regularly.
Well, thank you for your information. So we will have the Mayor's Labor Assistance Program up there this Saturday to clean up the area. Adam, I'm going to ask you to give a directive to Chief Delaney as the appropriate authority to increase patrol up in that area. We can have our police officers once a night or whatever the chief deems appropriate to patrol that area to stop people from going out there in the middle of the night doing drugs or drinking or partying, whatever. You have that authority. I'm going to ask you to invoke that authority. And Saturday, it will be cleaned up by the Mayor's Labor Assistance Program. Thank you.
Mayor, the other part of Chris's request was over the summer, he had brought up the concern about the view, and you had mentioned allowing his group to adopt the spot and for him to send an email, and he did send an email.
We sent it to, that's why I was hoping it was still here. We'll get the information. I don't know who we sent it to. And I don't know if I knew who we sent it to, I don't know why they didn't respond.
Either Evelyn or Michelle, I want to say, were
I'll
on
find
too.
out.
But
We
yeah, those
also
are the
have,
summer.
again, the Mayor's Labor Assistance Program is back in effect. It was missing for 4 years, so we can put that back in and have that area cleaned up by the Mayor's Labor Assistance. Okay, if there's nothing else for this council, I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
Mayor, I do have just one thing. I promise it'll be short. Thank you, Mayor. Mayor, I actually do appreciate, and if you wouldn't mind just listening, because this is really directed at you, I do actually appreciate you starting these meetings with a prayer. I know not everyone believes in God, and we don't certainly pray to the same deity, all of us here in Dover. But I think all of us expect that every resident of Dover honor the human dignity of every other resident. And you and I know you and I are not the only ones, but you and I especially know that there but for the grace of God go I, or go my brother, and none of us has a right to hit or attack or punch anybody because they are suffering alcoholism. And I think it's imperative that we, and you as the chair, ensure that words like bum and drunk to dehumanize our neighbors don't come out of the lips of council members, and encourage our public to respect human dignity. And I'm not saying that that excuses their behavior, but it is not up to us to hurt other people for engaging in behavior they should not be engaging in. And I know you believe that because you walk that walk, I've walked that walk, and that's important. And I'm glad that you brought up the view, and I was able to mention the crosses that the Ku Klux Klan burned here, right here in Dover. That word lynching, that is a very painful word. It has very ugly history, and I want us to be very respectful of that word and of that history. So I know you've had experience with that word and it being misused against you. So we should be very careful to honor that and not welcome that
That word
language
was
here.
mine. I'm the one who used the word bum and lynching. It wasn't, no concept.
It wasn't just you. It wasn't just you.
Alright, I'm gonna end this discussion right now.
And I don't retract it, by the way.
Entertain a motion for adjournment.
But you're wrong, though.
Please, let's all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you for coming, everyone.
Lynching is an action.
It's a racist word, really.
The bum is a bum. There's good people, there's bad people. There's bums and there's good people.
Ah, no la tengo, pero tienes.
Don't flex feelings on her.
Yeah. I'll see you on the 18th. Te veo en tu casa el 18, ¿no? El 19.
I remember.
María, el 19. Sábado. Okay. Look at how skinny she got, man. Alright, I love you.
Nos vemos entonces, María.
Yo he tratado de preguntarle a ella